Hello Year 2, how are you? And welcome to today's geography lesson. Now in our geography lesson last week, we looked at Ordnance Survey maps and we looked at the different symbols that are used on these types of maps. And we looked at a key that was attached to the map and tried to work out what the different symbols represented. Now today, that knowledge from last lesson will really help us because we are going to be looking at how physical and human features are shown on maps. Now, by the end of the lesson, you'll know what the word topography means, okay? Don't worry if you don't know what it means yet, because we're going to be looking at it together in a little while. You will also know the difference between human and physical features, and you'll know how these features are shown on a map. Now, I know we've done a little bit of work on human and physical features in the past, but we're going to build on that today. And by the end of the lesson, you will even be able to create your own map from an aerial photograph using the different ways in which physical and human features are shown. Okay, now you probably worked out that the main two words for today's lesson are physical and human features. Now, I have got a retrieval activity to see how much you can remember about these. So here you have got a photograph, not a photograph, a picture, and I have labelled the different features in the picture. Now, what you need to do is decide if they are human features or physical features. And you need to make a list of all the human features that you can see and then a list of all the physical features you can see. OK, pause the video now and have a go. OK, Year 2, so let's go through them together. Well, let's start with bridge. Now, is a bridge a human or a physical feature? Remember, human features are features that are built by humans and physical features are natural features. So features that would be there even if humans weren't around. Now, is the bridge natural? No, it's not, is it? A human has built it. So therefore, that is a human feature. OK, what about a farm? Now, a farm has a house attached to it, doesn't it? Now, are houses natural or are they made by a human? Well, yes, a house, a farm has to be made by a human, doesn't it? So therefore, that is another human feature. It wouldn't be there unless a human had built it. OK, what about a beach? Is a beach built by humans or is it natural? Ah, yes, it's natural, isn't it? So therefore, it is a physical feature. OK, what about hills? Well, are hills built by humans or are they natural? Well, they're definitely natural, aren't they? A human doesn't have to build a hill, do they? So, therefore, hills are a physical feature. OK, now what about a bay? Now, a bay is what you have near a beach when there's almost a lake of water and it's right next to a beach. What's that? A human or a physical feature? Yes, it's a physical feature because it's natural. It's not built by humans. OK, now what about a pier? Now, a pier is where boats are kept and it's wooden. Now, would a wooden pier be natural? No, it definitely wouldn't. I think a human will have definitely had to build a pier. So therefore, it's a human feature. OK, what about shops and houses? We'll look at these two together. Shops and houses, because they're both buildings, aren't they? Now, are these natural or has a human built them? Yes, a human has definitely built shops and houses. So therefore, they are both human features. Now, finally, what about a road? Now, is a road natural? Would roads be there if humans weren't around? Well, no, they definitely would not be. So therefore, a road is also a human feature. Fantastic. Well done if you got those right. Let's just recap human and physical features and then we will move on. So as I said, human features are built by humans. The clue is in the name. Human features are built by humans. So they wouldn't be there unless a human built them. So we've got a village, we've got a town which has a church and shops in, we've got a port and we've got a factory. So all of those would not have been around unless a human had built them. And then we have physical features. Now, physical features, as I said, are natural, so they would still be there if there were no humans. So examples of these are the coast, okay, so next to the waterside, we've got a cliff, we've got a river, and like we had in the picture before, we have got a hill. Okay, so human features built by humans, physical features are natural. Now, we have got our word that I said we will know what it means by the end of the lesson here, which is topography. Now, topography is a noun, and it means the arrangement of both the physical and human features of an area. Okay, so how the physical and the human features of an area are arranged. So where are they in comparison to other features? That is what topography is. And a map shows you the topography of an area. Okay, it shows you where something is, where a physical feature is in relation to another physical feature, or a physical feature in relation to a human feature. It shows you where everything is, the arrangement of all the physical and human features. Now, cartographers represent human and physical features as simplified versions on paper and maps, so they're not how they look in real life. And to do this, they have to carefully think about the shapes and the colours and the symbols that they use so that they can be read universally. Now, can you remember what I mean by universally? Well, yes, it means that everybody in the world will be able to look at that map and know what the different symbols mean, because the same symbols are used on most maps. Okay, now let's find out how physical and human features, the topography of an area, is shown on a map. So the different shapes, colours and symbols that cartographers use. So here are some human features shown on a map. So as you can see, we have got a map here, and it is part of an ordnance survey map. Now, can you see, let's start with pathway. Can you see I've written pathway? And I have got under pathway a dotted green line. So we've got little dashes in a line with a little space in between them. And that shows a pathway. Now, a pathway is definitely a human feature because a human has made that path. So can you see along the map where my arrow is from pathway, you can see that there is a dotted green line, and that shows a pathway, and they are all over the map. So this is quite a big walking area by the looks of it, isn't it? Because it has lots of different pathways shown by a dashed green line. Now we also have some symbols, okay? So the physical features like a museum, like a church, and like a car park are shown using symbols, okay? As we saw in the last lesson where we looked at all of the different symbols that were used on an ordnance survey map, we saw that a museum had a symbol like that, and a church had a symbol like that, and a parking area had a symbol like that. We looked at all of those last lesson. And we know that buildings are shown using rectangular shapes. So can you see my arrow that is pointing to the rectangle? Well, that is showing that there is a building there. Okay, so if it hasn't got a symbol that represents that place, so whether it be a church or a museum, if there's not a symbol that is used to represent that particular building, for example, if it's someone's house, you're not going to have a symbol for everybody's house, are you? A rectangular shape is used. Now, what else? Well, can you see the pink line that is going through the map? Well, what did you think that might show? Well, that shows a road, okay? So roads are always shown in pink, okay? So there are a pink line and it's running all the way through that map. So there's a lot of roads on this map. Now, again, if it's not a road and it's a motorway, instead of being pink, it is shown in blue. And then a railway line. Now, can you remember how a railway line is shown? Well, yes, Look, can you see in the bottom, the railway line had the two lines with the lines in between, didn't it? Remember, I thought it was a ladder, but I was just being silly, wasn't I? It's a railway. So that is how railways are shown. And then a railway station is a pink square. Can you see the pink square that my arrow is pointing to? Well, that represents a railway station. And they use bright colours for all of these human features because otherwise they'd blend in and you wouldn't be able to see them next to the physical features. So yes, we've got roads which are pink. We've got motorways, which are blue. We've got the railway station, which is a pink square. The railway, which is the black lines. The pathway, which is the dotted green line. And then we have the symbols and the rectangular shapes for the buildings. So that is how different human features, so features that humans have built, are shown on a map.